Thank you. Thank you for calling this hearing, and thank you to our panel for all your work. I'm a somewhat new father, 19-month-old son, and obviously the flu with respect to our children is something that's near and dear to my heart and many hearts in this room and across the country. According to a Wall Street Journal article, CDC estimated that over 27,000 children ages 4 and younger were hospitalized with the virus, and 118 died in the 2017 to 2018 flu season. Clearly, these are troubling for any parent. I think the uncertainty may be more than anything. And while immunization levels in the U.S. are relatively high, gaps still do exist, and providers can do more to increase immunization rates among their patients and their colleagues. According to the CDC, fewer than 70% of healthcare providers receive the influenza vaccine each year. How does the CDC engage with healthcare providers to promote vaccination?
So certainly, through a number of different studies, CDC has identified that the one way to get patients vaccinated is to make sure that the healthcare providers are promoting the vaccine as well. If you look at the coverage among healthcare providers, it falls into different kind of categories. The more you are at an academic hospital, the more likely you're to be vaccinated as a healthcare provider. The more training you have, physicians have upwards of 90%. The farther you get away from a hospital and the lower the training, like an aide at a long-term care facility, those are the ones that are not being vaccinated. And we clearly want to get the message out that those folks really need to get vaccinated.
Great. And then additionally, in the last decade, it's projected that fewer than 50% of Americans actually get the shot. What research has been done, or are you all doing, just to get a sense of why folks aren't actually getting vaccinated?
So,
trying to identify root causes here.
Yeah, so there are periodically focus group testing that gets done on different groups to try and find out what the reasons are. The main reason that we've identified in the last few years is that the effectiveness of the vaccine. People don't think it's as effective as it should be, and that's keeping them from getting vaccine. We know now that there are more places to get vaccine than ever, so access is one of those things that may have been a problem, but certainly we're getting over with now.
Okay, and then NIAID has prioritized the development of universal influenza vaccines and has highlighted its research strategy towards this goal in the strategic plan for a universal influenza vaccine. In your testimony, you highlight that one of the main challenges facing the goal of producing universal vaccines is improving vaccine production strategies. Could you tell us about plans to address this challenge and keep working towards a universal vaccine?
Yeah, thank you for that question, Mr. Gonzalez. Yeah, that was the point I was trying to make, that we really need to switch into different, what I call, vaccine platforms. In other words, not to require to having to decide on a strain in February and then take 6.5 to 7 months to get it grown and processed to be able to put in a vaccine. Whereas if you do the kind of platforms such as the nanoparticle, which is one of several platforms. So as part of our strategic plan that I articulated in that document that you mentioned, is to try and develop and perfect various platforms so that we can get away from the burden of having to grow the virus.
Thank you, and I will yield my remaining time.